Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and it's time to see if a Wonderkid centre-back can inspire a League One team all the way to the Premier League. Last time on the channel it was the veteran centre-back. It was Sergio Ramos who went to Charlton Athletic, and all he did there was get promoted once and get sent off more times than I'd like to remember. It was absolutely shocking from the Spanish defender and a real low point of this new series. But let's pray that Matthijs De Ligt can restore some order to this esteemed YouTube channel. That's a lie. Anyway, Matthijs De Ligt is going to Charlton, and he's going to have 5 years at the Valley to take them to the Premier League. But can he do it? Let's dive into the simulation and see if Matthijs De Ligt can inspire Charlton Athletic. Okay, here we are at the start of the simulation. This is League One Charlton Athletic, and there is Matthijs De Ligt, the young Wonderkid centre-back extraordinaire. He's going back to Juventus in 2026, but he's got 5 years at the Valley. 21 years old, already got 30 caps for his country. I mean, even though he's so young, he's such a leader. You can see there 17 for leadership, and that should serve him very, very well in this simulation. But can he get Charlton into the Championship? That's the first port of call. Sergio Ramos did it in the previous edition. He got Charlton up in the first season. Didn't go very well from there on out. But can Matthijs De Ligt do just as well as Sergio Ramos in season 1? Let's find out. Okay, here we are at the end of the first season, and Charlton Athletic are going up. They have done it. They have won the playoffs and are going up to the Championship. And it's all down to mainly, well, it's not all down to Matthijs De Ligt, but it's partially down to Matthijs De Ligt. Jadon Stockley, the Golden Boot winner with 22 goals. They've been great in front of goal, and they've been great defensively as well. That is because Matthijs De Ligt, the best player in the league with an average rating of 7.36. Matthijs De Ligt getting 7 Player of the Match awards. Exceptional from the Dutch defender. Charlton finishing the season in 3rd place and winning the playoffs against Sunderland. They've also had a couple of really good cup runs. We'll go with the Papa John's Trophy first. They got to the quarterfinals, where sadly they were beaten in the Pizza Cup quarterfinals by Leicester's Kids. But more importantly, they got to the Carabao Cup quarter-final, and they were only beaten on penalties by Liverpool. They were 1-0 up early on against the Reds, and they were beaten on spot kicks. And so sad, Matthijs De Ligt was one of the players to miss for Charlton. The Addicts knocked out in the quarter-finals. But the main goal was promotion, and that is exactly what Charlton have achieved. Matthijs De Ligt in the playoff final there, one of their best players with an average rating of 7.8. But there were some really good performances actually in the Charlton shirt. In the semi-finals, Matthijs De Ligt got injured in the second leg, but he was solid in the first leg, and it's been a great season from the Dutchman. He'd be disappointed to see Jason Pearce leave the club, but the main thing is that Matthijs De Ligt is there, and in 39 appearances in League One, 3 goals, 4 assists, which is pretty good for a centre-back who isn't called Sergio Ramos, and an average rating of 7.35. Overall, 54 appearances, average rating 7.45. Exceptional from the Dutchman, and a player who is only going to get better. He's already the vice-captain at the club, and he's the best player in a Charlton shirt by an absolute mile. Papa Soare, the next closest, he got 7.08, so he's about 0.4 behind the best player at the club. Matthijs De Ligt is in a world of his own at the top of the pile, and he is going to the Championship. I mean, it says here he'd be disappointed if Jason Pearce left the club. I mean, he's only played 10 times. Matthijs, I wouldn't really worry about it, mate, because if he does leave, you'll be the captain, and this club could really be going places. In the Championship, Charlton didn't impress with Sergio Ramos, but perhaps they can do better with Matthijs De Ligt, a man who has only been sent off once, which is about 4 or 5 times less than Sergio Ramos, which is a bonus. But will things get even better in Season 2, or will they be condemned to relegation from the Championship? Let's go another year into the future and let's find out. Okay, Season 2, Charlton are in the Championship, and they have survived. They've survived in the second tier of English football. but only just. They came 20th with 51 points, 6 points clear of the drop. And based on the top of the charts, Matthijs De Ligt has been overshadowed by the likes of Zambo Anguissa, Sander Berger, Player of the Match awards in terms of Martin Dubravka. Hasn't even been one of the top goal scorers, which is fair enough because he's a centre-back. But Charlton survive, staying in the Championship for another season. And Matthijs De Ligt is the Charlton captain at the age of 23. What a season he's had in the Championship. 44 appearances, no goals, 3 assists, 4 Player of the Match awards, and an average rating of 7.22. So he's gone slightly down from where he was in League One, but still an exceptional season from the Ajax captain at the tender age of just 23. Have they done well in the Cups? Well, Christ, they didn't do very well to start off with in the Championship. They didn't win a game until they played Stoke on the 21st of September. And they got back-to-back wins, so that was a bit of an improvement, but it was a really rotten start of the season for them. Cup competitions, nowhere near as good as they were the season prior, but the main thing for Charlton was survival, and that is what they have done. And not only do they have Matthijs De Ligt in defence, but they've also got Paul bloody Dummett on loan. What a season he's had. One of the best players at the club. You can see there Matthijs De Ligt's average has gone right down. Gone down by 0.19, which he's still the best player by an absolute mile, but not quite as good as he was in Season 1. But at least we've survived in the Championship. We've done better than we did with Sergio Ramos in the team. Now we've maybe got a solid base at least in the Championship. But there still needs to be an improvement. We still need a push for promotion at least. The only player who's got a team to the Premier League so far is Erling Haaland. Pedri couldn't do it, Luka Modric couldn't do it, Ronaldo couldn't do it, and neither could Sergio Ramos. Matthijs De Ligt, there is a lot of pressure on your young shoulders, but with a leadership of 17, I'm sure he can take this team much higher up the table than 20th. But let's go into Season 3, let's see what happens. Okay, Season 3, and just as I'd hoped, Charlton have improved. They weren't relegation contenders this season. Instead, they were gunning for promotion, but they missed out on the playoffs on goal difference. They came 7th after 46 games with 78 points on the board, but their goal difference of 10 was 11 behind Notts Forest, who came 6th. But it's a massive improvement from Charlton, who are on the up and getting closer to Premier League promotion. But once again, no Matthijs De Ligt at the top of any of the charts. I mean, the only Charlton player we've got here is Adam Davies, the goalkeeper, who got 17 clean sheets. Let's check Charlton out. Still managed by Alex Neil, still Matthijs De Ligt, the captain. And he's actually getting worse. He's played 45 times in the Championship and his average rating is down to 7.17, which is, I mean, it's still great, but it's going in the wrong direction. But maybe the most important thing is that Charlton are going in the right direction. They're going up, Matthijs De Ligt is going down, but not so far down that it's a worry. I mean, he's still the best player at the club there. 51 appearances, 7.24. There's only him and Adam Davies who seem to be playing every single game for the club. They've got Sam Byram there now, Daniel Ayala, the former Borough defender. But they haven't got Paul Dummett anymore, which is a little bit disappointing. Maybe that's the reason they've done a bit better, but I'd like to think not. They started the season much better this time. I mean, it was awful the season prior, but this time they've actually started quite well. Looks like no real progress in the Cups, but again, that's not really what we're here for. We're here for promotion, and that's something they've missed out on. If they'd beaten Sunderland on the final day, they would have got themselves into the playoffs, but instead they drew 1-1 with the Black Cats and have been condemned to a third season in the Championship. But at least things are going much better with Matthijs De Ligt than they were with Sergio Ramos. We go into Season 4 and we are still a Championship club, and a club that surely is going to keep on getting better and better. Matthijs De Ligt, I mean, he's still only an infant. How old is he now? 24. He's got another at least 10 years at the top ahead of him, but he's only got 2 more years at Charlton. How will year 4 go? Let's go 1 more year into the future. Let's see how he does. Is this going to be the one we'll get promoted? I've got a feeling it is. Come on, let's do it. Right, here it is, Season 4, and my spidey senses were tingling for a reason. Charlton are going up to the Premier League for the first time in absolutely ages. The last time they were in the Premier League, shootout cards were all the rage, for goodness sake. Some of you are probably so young you've never even touched a shootout card. But Charlton, they have finished 5th, they've got in the playoffs, they beat Sheffield United in the final 1-0, and Matthijs De Ligt is guiding Charlton to the Premier League. He was the second best player in the division with a 7.33 average rating, but the most important thing is that Charlton are going up to the Premier League. Matthijs De Ligt now the number 4 again. He keeps changing his number for some strange reason, and he has been back to his best in the league. 44 appearances, 4 assists, which is, again, we said it in the first season, that's quite a lot for a centre-back. I don't know how he's doing it, unless he's just pumping long balls up to whoever's leading the line. But his average rating is up to 7.35, 7.31 in all competitions, 52 appearances. And it's been a big improvement on the 2 seasons prior. 5 Player of the Match awards, but in terms of Player of the Match awards, he's been pretty consistent. And overall, he has been really good. Yes, he did dip in seasons 2 and 3, but season 4 has been a real return to form and sees Charlton go up to the Premier League. After a disappointing start against Huddersfield, they've really kicked on. Cup competitions, they were beaten in the Carabao Cup by Chelsea, doesn't matter. FA Cup beaten by Brentford again, doesn't matter. A strong end of the season got them into the playoffs, where they beat Sheffield United 1-0 in the final, with Alex Gilby getting the only goal. They beat Middlesbrough in the semi-finals. Matthijs De Ligt was terrible in the first leg, 6.4, that's quite horrendous, but we'll not focus on that, we'll look elsewhere. And as we go into season 5, we have made it to the Premier League. We've done plenty of episodes in this series so far, I'm sure you've been keeping up with every single one of them, and you'll know that Matthijs De Ligt is only the second player to take a team from League 1 to the Premier League. Erling Haaland did it, and he kept Sunderland in the top flight. Can Matthijs De Ligt do just as well as Haaland and keep Charlton in the Premier League? Let's go to the 5th and final season and see if he can do it. Okay, this is it, the 5th and final season, Charlton in the Premier League, and sadly they are going straight back down. They have finished rock bottom in what has been an appalling season in the top flight. 20th position, just 24 points on the board. They were 10 shy of Bournemouth, who finished 17th. Massively disappointing for Charlton, and Matthijs De Ligt goes out as a player who has been relegated with Charlton. 5 seasons, how was he in the Premier League? It's still pretty good, you know. 7.04 for a team that only got 24 points. That is pretty good, to be honest with you. Let's be realistic here. Only him and Josh Brownhill averaged more than a 7, but I mean, it just shows how much the standard at Charlton has dropped in the Premier League. If Matthijs De Ligt's only getting 7.08, you know there are massive problems. Well, not massive problems, but just a massive gulf in class between Charlton and the rest of the Premier League. He's looking forward to moving clubs, and you know what? He's done his job. He's mainly done his job. He did get Charlton to the Premier League, but sadly he could not keep them there. Erling Haaland kept Sunderland in the Premier League, and he remains the only player in this series to keep a team in the top flight after getting promoted from League 1. But Matthijs De Ligt is the runner-up so far. But how will things go when it's a goalkeeper's turn? That's the next thing on the agenda, and it will be a veteran stopper. We are starting with Manuel Neuer, who I believe is going to Ipswich Town. But for now, Matthijs De Ligt, can he inspire a League 1 team to the Premier League? Yes, he can, but he can't keep them there. Let's leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.